So I think a lot of people know that you use velocity to auto-regulate. You talk about that a lot, just as a general concept. I know I do too, and I find ways to build that in. So when people say, hey, if you don't look great, go down. If you look good, go up. What does the programming look like that allows you to be flexible?
As it relates to like velocity, I think that we have kind of these minimum thresholds, and it's almost, it's what a coach normally does, right? If you're with your athlete enough, you kind of see him and say, oh, you look good today. Well, this gives you like a firm number to say how good they look, or if they actually look slower. So I think every coach tries to do that on a given day, right? You might write that, you may be really percentage based, and you might write that it's like today's 85% for doubles or 80% for triples or whatever, right? And and it doesn't always end up like that. No, very rarely do I see a program end up exactly on the 85% or something like that. So we do it naturally. This just gives us a better, more consistent tool. We haven't used it a ton with Mary in this block because her training's been really inconsistent due to track season. Right. So we don't want to add like any extra kind of thought process to it. Just go and get the training done, as opposed to like really be thinking too much. And so it's just like pick and choose the athletes with which we're going to use it. More experienced athletes definitely are going to be somebody who can use it. Those information type people who want more numbers, and the people who keep really good training notebooks, those are the people who are going to use it. If somebody's kind of a little more willy-nilly, it's like they're going to be less responsive to it.
Is the programming itself very specific, like very percentage based, or is it like a range, or is it just kind of like?
Okay, so I typically use terms like I use like light, moderate, heavy, and then all their spreadsheets say light is usually like 75 to 85, 75 to 80% of your best for that rep scheme, right? Moderate is 80 to 90% of your best for that rep scheme, and heavy is above 90% for that rep scheme, right? So I want people to keep their doubles, their triples, all that kind of stuff, and then we base it off of that kind of stuff. We may learn in time that person needs really specific stuff. They need to know it's exactly 80%, but they need to know it's 90% but not above, or 90% plus. They may need different language, but by starting out and giving that range plus a little guideline, I think that people fall into how they train, and they get a little better out of it, right? And for most people, that range is really appropriate, because if they don't have a velocity device, or they're not checking some measure of preparedness every single day, they're going to go in and be like, I kind of feel good, or I don't, and so they need that range so that they know that training is fine that day, right? And then they can also, I can look at it and say, hey, what happened on this day? And they can give me feedback, because that was programmed as like a heavy, but this is definitely light.
Gotcha.
Like so cool. I think that training in those ranges is probably going to be the most accurate thing for most people. And then what you do as a coach is you go back afterwards and start looking at where those percentages end up as compared to their overall maxes. So if we have the rep one available, and we might not do it every day, but we're gonna test on test days. We'll put the rep one on the bar and test an athlete's muscle snatch as it compares to like a baseline. And basically what we're looking for is big deviations, right? So if it's like 10% slower than average, then that's probably not a good day to go heavy. If it is 10% higher, or 5%, a significant amount higher, then we're probably gonna feel really comfortable pushing it. And we'll have that information before we get to 90% and start feeling misses or something like that. And it's also a way to keep the tether off the bar throughout the session, so that they're not overly thinking about the number, right? We can get that number early on. I can make choices. I can also keep that number from them, so that I can make the choices for the athlete based on what the information I got. So I think it's like really useful to use it early on in a session for testing readiness.